to get points on the board, and then it's fingers crossed for tomorrow. So, in the words of Avenger, get out of your condo. It's time to Rondo.
You gotta talk to Barney, man. He can't be reinforcing these terrible things that Avenger comes up.
You cannot encourage that. Okay, well, we are on to Rondo right now, and yes, we have had a little bit of a cat switch up. It is Matchroom and Poro coming to hang out with you guys for the last 3 games. Playing path's going to be, I don't know, about mid on the eastern front, and then going to be ending down over into the west.
Indeed it will. And so remember now, we have seen Rondo yesterday. Tiamba ended up leaving with the victory yesterday. And now we just saw AGG taking a page out of the Falcons book and, you know, having a big win to go along with some pretty mediocre performances. But you know what? All that matters is you get to the grand final, man.
Yeah, and that's a big game for them. It's been a bit quiet here and there. I mean, that's kind of the thing, as you were talking about with Tycon, sometimes can happen. But, I mean, a big performance coming out. I mean, almost all of their points coming off of that last game. But we've had some really big contenders coming in today. TSM, 30 points that they've managed to pick up on the day so far. Almost a 10 points per average games. I really like what they're cooking.
Yeah, TSM looking real nice. And unfortunately, I guess all their dog tags looking real nice in Tycon's pouch right now. He took out all 4 of them, but
that was a super low economy game though for TSM. Sparking was chilling over there with 1 HP and a dream for how long?
What's going on with Test Track over here?
We're getting some attention. We saw that yesterday, a bit of a cluster that's been happening around the outskirts of it. Circle pops right on top of it though.
Is that 3 teams? See, I see Navi, but I feel like there's another yellow team underneath that that's a slightly different shade of yellow. Hey, there it is. It's 17. I knew it.
So now we've got
eyes on.
I mean, this is, you can technically hold this one down, but these guys are playing essentially an east-west format against each other. The road going to be in between them. Looks like they have managed to make this pretty peaceful, so they're just going to do some looting for right now. With the circle landing on them as well, you might be able to see a shift from both of these teams just moving opposite direction from each other, but you can see I is still drawing that direction. If we do see a knock, though, we might see a bit of encouragement in this firefight. And a shotgun in hand for Xiao Wu might also be an encouragement.
And you can just see on the split screen there, just off to the right, you've got 4 a.m. as well. So
Navi's making a push.
Navi is making a push. Well, this is kind of what I expected a little bit, just because of the fact that they are dead center circle. So they don't really have a whole lot of time to mess around here. If they think they can catch 17 slipping, now is the time to push.
Slipping with a shotgun's going to be hard to do, though. Waiting patiently, about to step around the corner. Does he have it lined up? Get some damage. It doesn't get the knock just quite yet. The numbers advantage, though, going to go with Navi, and they just run right on top of it.
Well done. Well played by Navi. And definitely, I mean, you talk about Navi, this is a team that likes to play things really slow in the early game, typically like to play from the outside. But unfortunately for them, they end up right in the dead center, so they have to make a decision. And they made a decision extremely quickly, catch 17 before they're able to get themselves set up.
And it would have been a bit more complicated for them to move out in the east. Since they were playing that eastern side of it, 4 Angry Men are going to be playing just a little bit further to the east of them. So going and getting control over this territory, really forcing 17 out to the west is a good call.
Yeah, they had to make a decision. So, CFO Lilgo's getting caught out a little bit here, but 2 HP. That's 1 more HP than Sparking needed.
He's got a little HP. So looking out, we can also see that VP is maneuvering down to the south of this. Looks like they're trying to get a position in, but it's about the chase right now. 17 Gaming having to continue out. You can see cover getting to be a bit more of a scattered position for them to play from. Meanwhile, just the whole pack of Na'Vi unrelenting. They know they have the advantage, and they're just continuing to press it every step of the way. Yes, this is a pretty complicated place to play from. A lot of different terrain sections that you have to deal with, but right now it is just literal backs against the wall for 17 Gaming as they're just being forced out of this position by just brute force from Na'Vi.
Well, they got to make a decision. They got to start making things happen pretty quickly here, because you can see just off in the distance, AGG has arrived. At least 2 of them have. 4 a.m. for the meantime has kind of just hung out on that eastern side. They hear this fighting going on, but they're not kind of collecting themselves to go and push this. They're just going to stay where they're at and see if they can maybe sneak a knock.
We're down in that stage where you're just hiding in corners with shotguns. That's never a good thing, but Xiao Wu going to play this one patient, realizing he doesn't have a good pathing to deal with, so maybe he can listen for the footsteps, realizing they're coming through. Door's going to open. Waiting patiently. They read exactly where he's at. That was clean.
Beautiful stuff from Ferris. And that's going to be Xiao Wu going down. And that is another kill picked up for the boys of Na'Vi. Now, 17 do still have 2 left. You see Xiaobei, a little ghost, and Diffix has a pretty good idea of where Xiaobei is. As you can see, a little damage come through on him. But now I think, I mean, you got to be just batting down the hatches at this point if you're 17.
This is getting a bit scarier as well, as we do have the rest of VP starting to make their rotation in. Just to the south of the mini-map, they already have one member in Lucarux that's held down that position. So this is starting to become more and more problematic. With the firefighting happening inside of this one, we could see a third-party push.
5 teams now in test track.
Yep.
And if, well, not completely, because it looks like All Gamers Global, they do have a 2-2 split, but the north part of their 2-2 split is getting pushed. So we'll have to keep an eye on there as Little Ghost again gets knocked low, but will stay alive.
Damage control now, that's all they can really do with those shots, though. That's also a signifier. Na'Vi realizing, hey, we didn't take those, so somebody else has eyes on what's going to be going on for our prize that we're going to be after. See now VP, looks like they're moving a bit more into the west. They don't seem like they want to get involved with what's going to be happening. Rello also did some scouting along this line. Looks like he's decided to stop off. Circles right now, you can see, really just kind of maneuvering in for position. Nobody wanting to really lean into the edge of this one, though.
They hear all the battling going on, but this is a tough place to play around. It's a tough place to push confidently, anyway.
Yeah.
You don't want to risk taking knocks and losing people this early in the game. I'm actually surprised that so far it's only been 17 that's lost anybody. But now that everybody's starting to crash in, everybody's starting to head down towards test track and places in and around test track, I wouldn't be surprised if we see more knocks come through.
See Luna flooding down the hillside, going to force the 2-2 split from AG to probably regroup a bit. I think that they're not in the biggest rush to run down that hillside right now. It looked like they were maneuvering for the car, but Sir T kind of stopped off for just 1 second, maybe seeing if they can defend a bit, but those shots are going to continue to harass him out. These two feel like maybe they can hold it for long enough, and Luna doesn't want to make a crash just quite yet.
Yeah, you could see a little bit earlier, AGG was in their vehicles. They were kind of running around doing circles, expecting to maybe get the crash coming through. But LG, as you said, more than content just letting them stay there, just keeping eyes on them and continuing to do their 2-1-1 split a little bit farther north. Meanwhile, Na'Vi has looted up a little bit more, and now they're going to refocus their attention back onto this compound where 17 is hiding.
They just know at this point. They have been just sharks all around this position, slowly maneuvering through. You can see how free that they're moving right now. This lets you know that they have a ton of information on what's going to be going on. They're not necessarily peeking around every single corner. They know where their advantage is, and they know where they're wanting to push into. So here comes a stack, getting a bit more careful as they're maneuvering in. Footsteps going to be heard by 17 Gaming.
Fast, man.
Just holding it. Shot's going to be coming out, expecting from the door, going to reveal position, going to step back now. Looks like they might move to the second story. Yep, just go ahead and see if they can play along the stairwell, and that's the Panzerfaust. Could be big if they stack up.
Oh, don't do it, Na'Vi. Don't do it. You got to be expecting it. Good flash, though. He's going to push him off a little bit. That's 2 for Xiaobei with that Panzer. You saw it coming. Now what can they do? Can they get the last kill off of it? It looks like Navi's going to try to rebound a little bit, pull away.
This is going to be hazardous. They want some vengeance back. You can see everybody starting to crawl out for Angry Men, getting some vision on all of this. This is just going to be more problematic. Nobody's really want to make a push in. Also, Roth, we talked about them kind of maneuvering along VP just a second ago. He's going to get spotted out. Little Ghost making play around the outside. This one going for Ferris. Doesn't quite manage to get him down, but Xiaobei is going to be able to finish it out, and tides turn as 17 Gaming survive.
Oh, Na'Vi. Na'Vi, they thought they had him pinned. They thought pushing with 3 would do it. It worked so well before, but they just didn't anticipate the Panzerfaust, and that flipped this whole thing on its head. Not to mention the third party from 4 a.m. coming in at the worst possible time, catching their trailing man.
That was such a long fight, and for Angry Men, I mean, AG, even VP heard that going on in different sections of it, so no surprise that a lot of eyes were drawn that direction. Luna continuing their pathing around, moving down near the other duo of AGG now, and not too close, but AGG is going to startle them, kind of push them away from that position. You can see the Falcons now lining up against T1. This is what's going on just to the south of where we're looking at with Racetrack and Neox Factory. So, I mean, T1 holding the hillside, and it looks like Falcons still just kind of on the hunt for the nest that they want to stop at.
Actually happy to see T1 holding this hillside and playing this a little bit more slowly. They've had a pretty rough go of things so far early game. They keep running into fights that they just can't seem to win, and it's not going their way. So slowing things down here a little bit, taking this time to hold the high ground, gain some information about what's going on around them. Probably might be a remedy for what's been ailing them.
Bet Boom taking a quick look at them now as they're controlling down to the southwest in a 2-2 split of their own, and I wouldn't be surprised. Yep. Going to get the replay back into what's going to be going on. I mean, this was just really cleanly played from Na'Vi at the start. So much information. They just played around it. Panzerfaust's peek from Xiao Bei, though, was just so good. He managed to play around that flash. It felt like Na'Vi had all the tempo, all the control, and then it just fell apart.
One Panzerfaust, man. That's all it takes. Everybody's favorite weapon in the game, I'm sure. Well, you can see TSM getting a little bit close to T1's split there. Alpaca I have to hop in the vehicle. I'm not sure if he's going to leave. The new circle pops, and we're staying at test track.
All of what? 4 people having to maneuver into the circle right now, so pretty similar. TSM trying to get a bit more control on what's going on at the south. They're going to be lined up against T1. Falcons continuing to move around them. Might see them bump heads in just 1 second. E-Arena kind of on the outskirts of this one, but they have something they can play around. They have to be worried about Bet Boom as well as Cerberus. Petrichor Road might also have a bit of vision depending on how they make some pathing.
TSM taking some fire from Falcons as they make their way west on the southern side of this new zone. Bet Boom with a big split just off to the southwest as well. FaZe, meanwhile, creeping into the southern part of that Neox factory. 4 a.m. has positions, but do they have the angles? Godvi looks like he spotted out somebody. Not going to take the shots, though.
Defensive line for 4 Angry Men felt it was more leaning into that test track. They were trying to get vision on what was going on over there, and that opened up a good opportunity. FaZe just exploited it coming from the south, and now they have managed to make landfall and at least get a couple of these buildings under control. I don't know how much information they have coming into this, but this was a very good rotation for them. Oh, that's probably why they have so much information.
That'll do it. See James taking off to the Wild Blue yonder, and right now he's reading the fact that they are backsides, at least off to the east, pretty free and clear. Now they do have Valley Tie split off to their north, but that's north of even the Neox factory, and T1 just off to the south, but nobody really making any pushes onto their position.
We often see FaZe play this 3-1 setup with James playing a bit further out. I really like to bring the gliders into this one and really allowing him to get a bit more maneuverability, more information to work around while he's doing that anchor position. Sure, he's not necessarily an anchor like he usually is in these types of positions, but I like this. It's still a continuation. It's an evolution of what we see them do on a regular basis.
Well, it also, I mean, it's also letting him know, like, hey, we can stay in this edge of the factory. We don't have to take the risk of pushing in any further and worrying that we're going to get crashed on the backside right now. We can hold this backside and not have to be too concerned. So we'll see how long it takes, or how much longer James is flying around like a beautiful, beautiful bird, a beautiful swan.
One of the members for Bet Boom did go down. E-Arena should be coming up to try to finish that one out. His best of luck should be flushed in just 1 second. Yep. And that gives a very wide spread for E-Arena. They're kind of running this, just all 4 members separating down into the southwest. You can see even on the minimap, nobody else around him right now. And that kind of mirrors what we saw Bet Boom doing. They were doing a 2-1-1, and E-Arena, good vision on this one, just exploits it.
Gets their second kill of the day.
Okay. Double what they had before.
Yeah, it's been a tough start so far for E-Arena, but as we saw with All Gamers Global, one good game could turn that all around. They only had 5 points before getting that big 12-kill win and finding themselves 3rd place overall on the day. Maybe, just maybe, E-Arena can pull something off here magical on Rondo.
Petrichor Road running a 2-2 split as well, as that is the theme of this map, it feels like, with all of the space to work around.
Spread
so many
out.
2-2 splits. Is they're going to be the ones contending against this Bet Boom lineup, as well as E-Arena, maybe even Cerberus as well. Freaks are very comfortable up to the northwest of this one, as Cerberus is just going to be down south of them. And they've got that hillside that they're kind of working around in between both of these. So it's really a lot of just hunkering around test track to see if you can get any space to deal with. And then everybody else really now exploiting the rest of that space. It's almost more comfortable to not be around test track, as everybody had the eyes that it was going to go over here. And yes, the circle still keeps test track in, but look at this. Beneficiaries for Freaks and Petrichor World, as well as Cerberus, now not having to contend with any of the mess over there.
Yeah, and FaZe actually just going to go ahead and leave the factory altogether. As they have the time, they have the space. They will take some shots from Mr. End, but try to find somewhere maybe on the edge to play with. This would be great for FaZe if they can find a position to take advantage of anybody that will be leaving test track, but can they play it safe enough until that point comes?
Let's see, Falcons moving forward. Remember, they did lose Roth pretty early in this. They're going for a very centered position. This is where they're going to stop out at. Not a lot of eyes on them at the time, but they do have Bet Boom as well as those harassing shots coming out from Petrichor Road. TSM is just going to be to the south of them as well, so wouldn't be surprised. Yes, you're going to hear all those tires pop. I wouldn't say that they're in trouble. This is just a bit scarier, but it is center position. Math should favor them.
Yeah, they just have to wait it out. I mean, I would assume that they have the smokes, they have the cover to kind of take that risk, to take that high position right there by the rock in the middle of the circle. So, you know, you would think that they can hold on to that pretty safely.
It depends on how we see everything end with Test Track right now. Also, Bet Boom depends on their rotation, as it looks like they're getting very close to this lineup. Quandong Freak's now going to be looking over into Luna and just picking them apart. Bean's going to find one, Salute on the other one, and you can see Luna's still just trying to figure out where all of these angles are coming in from, and yeah, just a quick push out, but also Falcons are hearing this. Looks like they're trying to third party it. Human, though, just trying to shut it down as fast as humanly possible.
Oh, man. Luna Galaxy was keeping eyes on Test Track that entire time. They had AGG. They had all the information, but once that circle popped, they knew they had to try to go for somewhere more towards the center. And unfortunately for them, Quandong Freaks is absolutely ready and willing to take care of them. And now Team Falcons will turn their attention back over as they are down to 3. Roth gone again.
Trying to pick up a bit more, and looks like they've got to be a bit careful with this one. They are stretching for the time being, but yeah, that's what I was worried about. Salute's going to hit the headshot. Flood is got the rock for cover right now, but remember, Rello is pretty far back behind this one. Doesn't have a lot of covering fire that it can provide in. We also have a bit more of a dust up happening back over in Test Track, as it does look like FaZe is going to bump into VP over there, and that's starting to pop off in the kill feed.
Yeah, FaZe not wanting to stay on the edge of Test Track, rather than going ahead and pushing directly in, but they are paying the price right now. Gustav is flushed out. Fex is knocked. Now it's just down to Jeems and Corexy. Corexy having to stop down to do a little bit of healing, but VP still have all 4 up, and they've got a good surround on this.
Okay, VP, how are you going to navigate? We are also going to get 4 angry men moving into position right now. No surprise on it. Just think if maybe they can exploit, pick up some kills as free as possible off of it. HS playing on the distance on it as they are going to start getting vision. And this high ground with the road could be a beneficiary for them. I don't think that the angles are going to provide too much for them. So I do like the fact that they're kind of opting into playing the lower ground right now. Ooh, that's a circle.
Well, you thought that everybody was going to have to leave Test Track eventually. You hoped it would be a little bit sooner, but now they get to stay in there for a little bit longer. And you see Valley Thai already sending it down. They've been controlling the northeastern side of the zone so far. Now they've got this spot that Luna Galaxy was kind of playing around before they were summarily dispatched by Quandong Freaks.
Also love the awareness coming out from 4 angry men, realizing how T1 was kind of wanting to move into this one. They're going to take some shots, slow him down. Just to the west of T1 is going to be TSM, and that's why we're kind of see T1 just prodding the circle, seeing where they can find a pathing in. And 4 angry men doesn't have the capabilities to take shots at all of these rotations. You can see Int has managed to make it into the zone, and with the way that that curve happens in the road, it's kind of denied out the angles, and they don't want to pick out too much further than this.
Yeah, T1 definitely trying to put themselves in a position, but unfortunately for them, it looks like Bet Boom might have a little bit of an angle here. But I love what 4AM is doing, as you said, just wanting to get involved in this, but not wanting to get fully committed, and just kind of putting themselves in a good position to take advantage.
Got goals. Are the goals going to pay off? They are just sending it right now. It looks like they're just moving for the center of the circle. Nobody has gone down yet. This has been pretty free. Everybody was already caught up in third-party firefights. So all of these members managed to make it all the way through the circle. I would say about half of it, and managed to make it back into Test Track and find an open spot to deal with.
Jeez, Lyric's the only one that took damage off of that too, and they just sent it right down the road and right into Test Track, and they get it for free. Dead center circle too. So, and why not throw in a crate as well? Let's give them a little bit of extra treatsy.
Here's a bit more fun, too. Yeah, FaZe now maneuvering over here. They're going to bump into what's going on with E-Arena and their reposition, so this is going to open up a bit more sightlines. Oh, also we have an emergency pickup. Looks like it could be coming this direction. That's going to be Cerberus making landfall. How are they going to opt into playing this? Where are they looking at? They should spot out the vehicles down below them, realizing that they don't want to go that direction. Instead, they're going to eyes right over to VP. Remember, 4 angry men also over here. A not good vision for 4 angry men to defend against this until the very end of it, though.
Oh boy, Cerberus, this was not a good call. I'm not sure if they had any better options available. They were pretty much 4 deep in a compound on the southwestern side this whole time, and just kind of had eyes on them from E-Arena, so they had no intel about what they were pushing into here, and they just decided to send it. E-Arena got lucky, Cerberus didn't.
Eyes wide right now. Soulsy does manage to at least take down one, and the spins coming out. The distraction spins pay off.
He hit him with the washing machine. I love to see it. Put him on the spin cycle. But but they end up getting him. They do lose one, so VP now down to 3, and 4AM is going to see that in the kill feed. They're going to realize what happens, and fortunately, Luka Ruck's immediately turning his attention back over, but now Arena having to deal with FaZe somehow. Corrects. It's the day of 1 HP.
But here's the problem. T1 is moving back in behind FaZe and not making a big move just yet. EV also aware of the firefight that's going to be going on. Circle has popped, does have FaZe inside of it, doesn't have VP, doesn't have T1, doesn't have TSM, Petrichor Road, all having to make moves. AGG has shifted over into the west, leaving one of their members back behind, just eyeing what's going on. But let's not forget, 17 is still alive and going to have to make a rotation into where all of this firefight's going on.
Gets the res back up, so Correxy back on his feet. Blues on grenade, not going to find it. Tigger will be flushed out by Ibby. The rest of E-Arena, as you said, just going to go ahead and retreat on back. Meanwhile, Freaks is just kind of pushing through the entire western side of this lobby, and Falcons are going to be the one that go down.
We saw this an extenuation of the firefight that kind of started with them poking at each other. AGG providing some covering fire into this one. You can see FaZe, though, they're in the meat grinder right on the edge of the zone. Multiple teams going to be eyeing this position, and they're already weak. And Freaks just continuing to roam. Yeah, got Valley Tie in pretty good position on the circle, but not being too much of an aggressor. Therefore, it's going to be Freaks who've just been, like you were saying, walking around over there in the west. Petrichor Road getting vision on TSM. They're trying to make their rotation and do manage to get in the circle. But Petrichor Road had eyes on that position as well, and now got damage in. They're just trying to follow it up. Are they going to hop inside the vehicles? Push? What are they going for?
Well, they got to do something. They're outside of the zone right now. The instant knock will open up a little bit of a door, but Purdy Curdy immediately turning his attention back over in that direction. Pero not going to pull all the way in, just find themselves a little bit of a hillside to work with. They are down to about half HP, but you see the kill feed is lighting up, Matrim.
Bet Boom on the other side of TSM. Two different squads trying to make the approach, but now being distracted. It's going to be a quick pop-off between what's going on. Oh, yeah, TSM, dude. I don't know how you can handle this. So many angles coming out they're trying to defend from, and every single time they just try to find some cover from one of the squads, they just instantly lose it to a new angle from another one.
Yeah, they were hanging out on the south side. Unfortunately for them, they were the first ones to make the move in, and sometimes being the first one is the worst possible idea because that means everybody else that's waiting will just go ahead and try to pull the crash off. Pero has been controlling the southwest, much like Kwandong has been, or Freaks has been controlling the northwest. Now, Freaks took out Falcons, moved back to their previous position. Petrichor Road, meanwhile, takes out 3 out of 4 of TSM, Sparking the only one remaining, and BetBoom going to pull off of that as well. Now Ibby and the rest of VP having to turn their attention over towards T1.
Virtus Pro making the push in. T1 stalling out. Remember, FaZe is going to be directly in front of this. They have one of their members down. T1 had their eyes pushing this direction. Meanwhile, VP manages to exploit terrain. Positionals comes in after. T1, though, not going down without a fight, getting good vision and good control angles to work from. Now moving up on top of this road, getting some distance away from what's going on with VP down below it.
These are the last one up here for Virtus Pro. We'd love, if nothing else, to be able to flush out those 2 kills from T1, but it looks like BetBoom is going to get an angle and steal those away, so that's points out of the pocket of VP as FaZe Clan is going to get eliminated here in the end.
T1 still just trying to hold on to that angle. EB is going to get spotted, so BetBoom going to take them down. Sparking with a ton of friends around him. They've been dancing right on top of him. Haven't spotted him just yet. You can see helmet and armor in a ton of trouble, so it's going to be very hard for him to survive.
AGG was holding on to the northern side of that test track, and they finally had to leave, and they've spread themselves out. They're taking advantage of a very beaten and bruised E-Arena, but I don't know if they are even aware of Valley Tie just off to the west. Valley Tie playing it real quiet, very split, taking up a lot of space, but they've got 3 up, and they've got Circle, and nobody really seems to be aware of them.
We've got 2 big influencing factors right now, and that is going to be BetBoom down to the south, trying to figure out how they navigate in, and then also to the north, we've got AGG. They're eyeing in this E-Arena line. That's where the harassment's coming in from the north. 17 Gaming also going to be closing in. Little Ghost already down off of it. Zhao Bei looks like he doesn't have a clean path to deal with. Surtee is going to be the north of this one, so 2 different teams got angles onto 17 Gaming. This is going to be very hard to rotate. Meanwhile, even if he does manage to make it past this, T1 will have vision, nice, so no surprise that's going to be how that one ends. But that means that the new firefights are going to be between really T1, E-Arena, as well as AGG, and AGG has the numbers advantage in this.
Yep, BetBoom still repositioning, and they know that Petrichor Road is off to their west, just uphill, and they know that they are at full strength, so they're trying to avoid that fight for as long as they can while Petrichor Road just continues to flex out a little bit. Then they should be aware that Sparking is around there hiding somewhere. They just haven't been able to pick him out just yet. Right now, focusing all their attention over towards BetBoom.
just trying to buy some more placement points. That's all Sparking really wants at this time, but it is Sparking. You know he also wants to kill. It's the way he plays it. AGG, though, it feels like are getting more and more control over here. Bet Boom also going to collapse in. I want to know how Bet Boom is going to maneuver around. They've got Petrichor Road just over in their west, making it very difficult for them to make those last couple of meters, those last couple of steps into the zone itself. They've got a doozy playing very far over next to Racetrack. He does get spotted out, and he's going to go down. That really forces Bet Boom's hand more into this kind of centered position.
Summer just tiptoeing around imminent death here is Sparking, staying alive, keeping TSM in this one. Got to the top 8. They're in the placement point range. Tycon, though, is going to find Raining. His reign of terror is going to continue.
Walking forward, the weakened T1 does spot out what's going to be moving in with them. It's going to be AGG stepping up. Tycon leading the way right now, trying to crest in, but Sparking comes alive, spots out Summer, looking down to Petrichor Road at roughly the same time. It's going to be Bet Boom gets active on one side of this one, trying to get some more damage into it. Sparking just dancing around. One life finally going to go down. TSM is eliminated, but that makes it a lot harder for Petrichor Road to deal with what's going on with Bet Boom.
Oh, man, Ming left with about 20 HP there. Sparking almost took that one out here. Now, see, Freaks is going to lose Salute on the southern side of that road. They did finally spot out Valley Ties. Valley Ties has finally come awake, and they are getting involved here in the late game. And now, all of a sudden, just like that, we're down to our top 4.
Oh, Freaks, how are you going to hold control over the West? All of this vision is now coming back over to you. AGG needs to step out. They've got to move into Valley Tie's position. Valley Tie has been kind of weakened specifically by Freaks. As you can see, it is going to be Heaven getting another knock, and it's just going to be Latte back up against the wall, not even in the zone. He should go down pretty soon, as I think Zest even has vision on the other side of this one. Heaven's going to pick that one up as well. So Freaks, the only team in the circle right now, but there is not a lot of cover to be had. You just got to fight your way through it, and Heaven is loving that idea.
Well, I'm telling you what, AGG, they might not have had a great Miramar, but they have turned things on here on Rondo and Tego, as they have 4 up, 7 kills, continuing to climb the leaderboard. Freaks are doing the exact same. They've got everybody back on their feet. Petrichor Road down to just Ikeslef and Ming on the south side of this road, and they should be able to survive a while here, because it looks like Freaks and AGG are just going to square off face to face.
Oh, and AGG manages to take down Ikeslef, which could have been a small problem for Freak. So AGG shifting over there, realizing where the threat's going to be down to the south, trying to buy some more space off of it. It's going to be Zest trying to get the harassing on to Ming, but Ming at least manages to make it over. Shot's going to come out from Ming, though. He's trying to defend his last teammate that he still has to work around. Tycon's going to run back the rock, and now can they get the angle? Ikeslef is going to go down. Salute's going to be going after Zest, and it's getting more problematic by the second. Nade's going to be landing on top of him, and AGG, you've got to hit this shot. You've got to make this one happen. You are in some trouble, and Throbble's just continuing to rain down.
And Freak's just sitting here smiling on it as they completely, I mean, Ming just destroys AGG. And it looks like Sapao should be able to get Tycon back on his feet here. If the grenades just not landing where they need to for Ming. Oh, that one does. Never mind.
So now we've got Guman right there next to Ming. The rest of the squad already in control next to the road. They know that they've got the numbers advantage. 4 members up. Just going with the throwables. Gonna hit it. Makes it look easy. Freaks fighting their way through every step of that circle. Gonna take control of the game and get the win.
That is absolutely huge for Freaks here. Their second victory of the day. And again, following that Falcons format, man. They had a couple of games where they just got no points whatsoever, but 2 big wins, 2 big kill wins are going to shoot them right up the leaderboard.
They just don't like that map, dude. That's the way it works, right? That's always the excuse players say, oh, I just don't like that map. These other maps are better.
Well, they were playing that northwestern edge, and they were doing the edge play strat the way the edge play strat is meant to be done, right? You basically area control. You have this zone. You know that this zone is safe. You know that your back is clear. You see everything in front of you. If you have a fight that you could take advantage of, like they did with Falcons, you push it, you get it done as quickly as possible, move back.